Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello, and this is the final episode of this series, of this three-part series where I revisit my very first gouache paintings. So far we've journeyed through two nostalgic pieces, Cyclops and Hank McCoy Beast, embracing both the mistakes and triumphs that come when I was doing them. And now it's time for the grand finale. I'm going to reimagine my final piece, none other than Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. This piece holds a special place in my heart, not just for being one of my first, but because of the challenge it posed back then. And today, I'm diving back in with fresh eyes, new skills, and just a hint of nostalgia to see how far I've come as an artist. When you're starting out on a new medium, you have a huge list of things you want to accomplish and you imagine. And you have this fearless energy of someone who just wants to dive right in. I was the complete opposite. I've seen what was capable. I've watched amazing artists on YouTube and I studied and saw what was out there. But I didn't really know where to start. So my first three gouache paintings were based on Jack Kirby's original X-Men drawings in all of their retro glory. And I feel that they were a great, or I should say safe, starting point for me. And I say that being an accomplished artist and illustrator. Like looking back at these paintings, I see so many things that I'd approach differently now. Anatomy, color, intensity, but I understand and I appreciate why I chose these images. It was a great way to get past certain anxieties and jump right in to something familiar. It has been a great experience revisiting all these pieces. I started to think of it as a conversation between my past and present selves. The past me was all about nervous experimentation and uncertainty, while the current me has a better understanding of form, composition, and uncertainty. That said, when it came down to this, my version of Jean Grey, I wanted to capture not just Marvel Girl's iconic strength, but also her elegance and personality. I wanted to see if I can elevate her while staying true to the essence of her character. So for this piece, I'm pushing for far more dynamic posing and intricate line work because, to me, she deserves nothing less. There is something both exciting and nerve-wracking about working on a character as iconic as Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. You of course want to do it justice, but you also want to bring a unique perspective as an artist. For this drawing, I wanted to make sure to echo her classic costume, but I also wanted to give it a modern flair. And while inking the drawing, I was searching for a balance and an emphasis on dynamic line work while leaving some space for the paints later, making sure to learn and put into practice the things that I've experienced from my last two paintings in this series. You know, surprisingly, I did a lot of inking in a series that was supposed to be focused on gouache paintings. But as an artist, a mixed media artist, you have to allow yourself to adapt and evolve. My goal, one of many, is to begin to phase out the inking and define my forms and line work and shadows with gouache by itself. And it's absolutely possible. I know it is. But in the meantime, I'm having a lot of fun developing an art style that is unique to me, that incorporates both ink and gouache. And I encourage you to do the same. Don't pigeonhole yourself to one style and medium. Blend as many as you want. Do things with gouache you can only do with acrylic, and vice versa. And find out why something works one way and not the other. Discovery and sharing are two of the 3 core tenets of my channel. And the main one is community. And if you're like-minded, here's where I ask for your support. Hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. All or one of those is extremely appreciated. And now the fun part, the gouache. It's all about layering and bold color choices to breathe life into this reimagining of Marvel Girl. In this one, I'm aiming for vibrant yellows and deep blues. One challenge was preserving the ink's crispness while letting the gouache emphasize the softness of the character. And there's a fine line between complementing and overwhelming. I had to focus on layering carefully, keeping the transparency of the gouache in mind, and then knowing when to let the ink hold its ground. One thing I didn't really consider was the painting of Jean's hair. The majority of it is hidden in the original piece, but in my redo, it was an opportunity and a challenge. Her hair isn't just red, it's vibrant, dynamic, and full of personality, much like herself. And in my drawing, it represented maturity. Unlike when I painted Beast, when I did Jean's hair, I went with a watercolor approach. But I rushed myself, and I really didn't allow the process to breathe. I didn't allow myself time to add much dimension and depth. And that's one thing that I guess in another year and a half, when I redo the redo, hopefully I've learned enough to allow that process to carry out. And here it is, my new and improved Marvel Girl. It's amazing to see how much has changed since the original, and I hope this inspires you to revisit your own creative journeys. Honestly, art is all about growth, and sometimes revisiting the past is the best way to move forward. This has been such an incredible series to create. Looking back at where I started and seeing how far I've come as an artist. If you've enjoyed this journey with me, let me know in the comments which piece was your favorite, and if you'd like to see me revisit other old artworks or tackle specific characters, drop a suggestion below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, thank you so much for being here. Your time is greatly appreciated. My name is Mello, and as always, I'll draw you later. Bye-bye.